How you doing, everybody? It's me, Tom, Arcader Zero, soon to be all branded as Azerod, which was short for Arcader Zero Designs, which I'm doing a lot of work under. But anyway, I know I haven't been on lately, but wife's been going through a lot of medical issues. I've lost count on what surgery we're on right now, but knock on wood, she is getting better. Thank you. So today I want to do a quick first impression of the new Marvel Multiverse Role-playing game. They actually released this first, which was like a little playtest type thing that you could purchase, and then they actually did listen to a lot of suggestions and feedback on the game. Um, this isn't a full review because I haven't played it yet. I even haven't made a character, but I did read through it. And when I say read through it, I use that term loosely, but I look through all the major parts of what I look for when looking at a superhero role playing game. Now, start off with some of the good. The art is excellent. Thank you, Marvel, for really understanding the importance of art. Because I remember when it came out in the '80s, it was the art was horrible. I mean, you had John Byrne, you had all these great artists you could have used. At least DC on the covers, they used like George Perez, and the inside art was okay. But anyway, so art is good. Um, it's really friggin' weird. It is very complex. Um, I think they started out with we want the 616 dice mechanic to mean something, and then they kind of built the whole game around that mechanic. Trying to shoehorn everything in, which was really weird. It's clever. I'll give them that. And they do have many pages to explain how to use the dice. Um, so, for the core mechanics and everything. So yeah, that's what it does. It goes into your backstories and everything else. Where it gets kind of weird is first thing I look at is how strong is Thor? How strong is Iron Man? Those type of things. How do they compare? How strong is Spider Man? And they removed the might because they had stats in here originally, um, which was, I'll tell you in a second here. And I'll tell you one thing, you're going to want to hold on to this book too, and I'll tell you why after. All right, so it had might, agility, resilience, vigilance, ego, and logic, which I kind of liked. Of course, it spells out Marvel, which was clever. I'll give them that. You roll the dice, you add your modifiers compared to a target. Boom. Did you hit him? Yes. Thor was a rank 20 character. Obviously, the higher rank, the more powers you have, the more powerful you are. Spider Man was a rank 10. We're going to focus on Iron Man, who was rank 15. And he had powers like his Mighty 2, which gives you super strength. His it really didn't have anything for armor in this, except for environmental protection. Flight 2, ram. I don't know if he had a ram or he could ram somebody. Thermal vision. Oh yeah, he did have armor too. He had his energy control with energy beams, blast waves, things like that. His logic was score 8, so you kind of get a benchmark of what a genius would be. But anyway, that was in the old one. In the new one, they swapped out might. There's no more might, so they switched it to melee, however you want to say it. And let's see. And they also reduced. They tried to make it, I think, a little bit easier because they had a lot of big numbers floating around. So Iron Man's new rank is rank 4. But it's funny, he lost some of the abilities he had, like the environmental protection of his suit. That's gone. He has accuracy, brilliance, combat trickery, environmental protection. Oh, he does have that. Flight 2, he's Mighty 1. Slow motion dodge, sturdy. Then he has his elemental control energy for barrier, barrage, blast, burst, and push. So that's Iron Man. He's a rank 4. So his strength is based off mighty. Now, the way they handle strength and carrying capacity is based on your size. So if you have mighty, you can carry one size up. What's weird though, and it could just be me because I haven't read the comics. I've been more involved with the MCU. I like that a lot more. Is Iron Fist right next to him? Danny Rand has Mighty 2. He's stronger than Iron Man. I didn't think that was the case. Maybe that's the case with his punch ability, but it really doesn't go into any details on how that works and the mechanics of it. It just is. Um, it does a good job of doing your non-combat checks and your combat checks, melee, agility, ego, logic, combat checks. Not sure how that all plays into it, but I guess when I read on, I'll find out. Um, and when we go into powers, powers was kind of a mess in there, and they tried to make it less of a mess. But they still have a lot of just odd powers. Like it could have been much simpler. Could have been much simpler. So you have like power groups that you can purchase from, and you have tiers before you buy that power. You have to buy other powers. They have the spider set of powers that I guess they're betting on people wanting to make a spider character in the game. So it's really strange. And so you got a bunch of powers like here's weather warm, weather chill, wisecracker is a power. Uncanny, they've got a whole bunch of shield powers. I think they still have the ability. I can do this all day. So more than one hero than Captain America has that. So which is kind of strange. And in the back, okay, it gives you all your tables on how you purchase powers. So here's your flow chart on if you want to get to a certain power, where you need to go is on these charts in the back, which I guess I'm glad they put them in there because it could be tough. Also, there's another table in here which has like their benchmarks on like how much people can lift and everything else. I can't find it now, but all they do is they just give examples. You know, you can lift a car. Here are your character sheets, by the way. But in this book, and in this one, if you go to the charts in the back, instead of just giving an example, it gives you how many pounds. Okay, so if you're an average sized person, you lift 100 to 400 pounds. If you're big, 400 to 1,500 pounds. Huge, 1,500 to 3 tons. Massive, 3 tons to 12 tons. Gigantic, 12 to 50 tons. And colossal, 50 to 200 tons. So obviously, every time you take might, you're going up in that chart. And you get a bonus to your attack modifier and your damage modifier. At least you did in this one. And it puts it out there. So that's how strength is calculated. So Captain Marvel, who is in Thor, they're top tier strength. They're tier 4 mighty, if that makes sense. So my first impression is it's a lot to digest. It's confusing. Even with my years of superhero role-playing experience behind me, it would take a good solid couple through read-throughs that before I'm able to, really grasp it. And if I were to run it for any of my players, I still love this version of it. Once you get a handle on the dice mechanics, you can do a whole bunch of comic book stuff. It really kind of frees you up. So this is very stat oriented and very detail oriented. This one's more cinematic and free flowing. I wish they did something like DC did. DC is very clear. You look at the strength. You look at you can compare strength of Superman to Darkseid and Darkseid, or and compare them. How tough they are. But they don't do that. This was a very good book, by the way. But DC went and they found the top tier superhero role playing game out there at the time, which was Mutants and Masterminds. Fantastic game, good system, very detail oriented. I wish Marvel would have just reached out to Prowlers and Paragons, because to me this is so far the top tier role playing game, superhero role playing game in history. In my opinion, no one's beat this yet. So let me know if you pick it up, what you think about the new Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. I wish they went with the MCU. I know that would have been expensive to get Chris Evans' likeness, and you have to pay royalties and everything else. But I think it would have sold a lot more because I think more people are into the MCU than they are the comics. That's just my thinking. And who knows? Maybe they might come out with a supplement. I know they're coming out with a Spider-Verse one, so they might come out with a different supplement. They might come out with one for more powers. A lot of the powers are there. I checked, though it kind of leaves a lot of gaps to be filled, like super speed and stuff like that. How many fast tasks can you do? Those type of things. Um, but anyway, are you picking that up? Let me know. Put your comments down below. I'm actually working on my own role-playing game system now, Synesis, which hopefully within a year or so I should have something up on Drive Through RPG if I get around to finishing it. But I've been working diligently on it. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Sorry for the long absence.